Another loaded show on the docket for today's Philadelphia Eagles now, but first, today's sponsor is RexMD, the #1 leader in men's telehealth. You can get up to 95% off and a free gift by going to rexmd.com/chat. Before we start to dive into today's show, make sure you join us for our Sunday Night Football watch party against the Miami Dolphins. After Philadelphia's loss to the New York Jets, this game becomes really important for the Eagles. They're banged up in that secondary, and the #1 offense is coming to town. But I'll tell you this, Eagles fans are going to be tailgating all day. It's going to be an incredible environment at Lincoln Financial Field, and I don't think Tua Tagovailoa has seen anything like the environment that he's going to see at the Link on Sunday. Can't wait for it. Hang out with us. It'll be the best place to be outside of being at the actual game. Want to start off today's show with this super chat coming in from Andrew Nathan. He said maybe Julio Jones means that Quez Watkins could be on his way out soon. Quez Watkins was placed on IR right before that Jets game, so he has to miss a minimum of 4 games because he's going on injured reserve. Maybe bringing in Julio means that they want to see what he can do while Quez is out to see if Julio can be wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4. And if they're impressed with Julio, Quez Watkins, final year of his contract, do they try to trade him in the lead up to the NFL trade deadline to a team that is looking for a speedy wide receiver? Lion Fighter with the 10. Eagles offensive coordinator Brian Johnson is cheeks. He literally got his job from his history with Jalen Hurts. He never should have been named OC. Should have brought in someone from outside of the organization. This is our issue. Now, Brian Johnson actually does have a pretty credible resume. He had a really good playing career at Utah. He became the youngest offensive coordinator in college football once his professional playing career ended. He put together a pretty good coaching career coaching Dak Prescott at Mississippi State, Kyle Trask at Florida. He put up some big numbers there. And then with Philadelphia, he's been Jalen Hurts' quarterback coach since Nick Sirianni came to town. Now, he does have that relationship with Hurts and his father because Brian Johnson played for Hurts' dad when Brian Johnson was in high school. That, of course, has something to do with it. I think familiarity is important for an OC and his relationship with the quarterback. So, look, when the Eagles hired Brian Johnson, he was the name for Philadelphia. And he was the guy who everybody wanted Philadelphia to hire to replace Shane Steichen. And I think that offensive continuity is really important. I also think we're forgetting how valuable and how much of a quality coach Shane Steichen is and was for this team. When he was with Justin Herbert, Herbert's rookie year, Herbert set records. And then he comes to the Eagles. Look at the growth from Hurts, where he went from 52% completion percentage year 1 under Doug Peterson to 67 in year 3, runner-up for MVP. He was doing some good stuff with Anthony Richardson. They're winning games right now with Gardner Minshew. The feel for the game, the play design, the play calling in moments, especially in crunch time, in the red zone, there's a feel that is required there. And Brian Johnson has not had that same feel. I'm not ready to give up on him yet because when he did get hired, a lot of NFL insiders were saying Brian Johnson, a name to look out for, could be one of those Eagles assistants in the future who gets a head coaching job. Right now, though, yeah, he's been subpar. Emmanuel Henderson, $20 super chat. How does the Eagles defense attack Miami's high-speed offense? The Eagles pass rush is going to be absolutely critical in this matchup against Miami. If Tua Tagovailoa has all day to throw with the weapons and the speed that they have on the offensive side of the football, it's going to be a long day, and it's going to be a track day, a track meet. Because if Tua has time to survey the field, he could pick you apart. And I know I've never been a huge Tua Tagovailoa guy, but this year he's thrown with timing, anticipation. He's been really accurate. But when he gets pressured, you can see it. He's not the same quarterback. His feet beneath him get a little bit shaky, and he's prone to throwing some interceptions and giving the ball up, whether it be a fumble, whether it be an interception, when he is under duress. Another big thing is that Miami can run the heck out of the football. Mike McDaniel, their head coach, is a Kyle Shanahan protege, as part of that Shanahan tree. They do a bunch of creative stuff with pre-snap motion, gave the Eagles defense in the Super Bowl last year a lot of trouble on that Sky Moore touchdown, the Kadarius Toney touchdown. So he's going to get creative with all that pre-snap motion. And Philadelphia hasn't communicated that well all that often, and that helps the Dolphins scheme open splash plays through the ground, in the air, and that's really what you have to account for if you're Sean Desai in this Eagles defense. Like, everything has to be on the table because Mike McDaniel has a whole bag of tricks. A lot more to get to on today's show, but as I mentioned off the top, RexMD, the #1 leader in men's telehealth. Sign up today at rexmd.com/chat. Same treatments, free consultation, and a faster delivery. Fellas, let's be honest, right? Do you sometimes lack confidence in the bedroom? Do you wish you could have a more fulfilling sex life? You're not alone out here. That's why we're excited to tell you about RexMD, the online source for men's wellness, and hopefully we can help you out in the process. RexMD offers an easy and discreet way to get the medication you need for ED without having to visit a doctor's office. With only a few clicks, you can have your medication delivered straight to your door and at a fraction of the cost of traditional pharmacies. RexMD's team of licensed physicians will work with you to find the right treatment plan, and all of their medication is made right here in the beautiful USA. So if you're ready to take control of your sex life and say goodbye to ED, head on over to rexmd.com/chat. Start your consultation today and take advantage of their best deal they've ever offered and get up to 95% off and a free gift only by using our exclusive link. Once again, up to 95% off and a free gift at rexmd.com/chat, the #1 leader in men's telehealth. It's telehealth for men. We'll put that link in the comment section as well as in the description of this video. Ryan Rowe, can we get Jeremy Chinn or Simmons and secondary to bolster that up, improve the red zone, stay healthy, force turnovers, and to improve the pass coverage? So I think that Jeremy Chinn is definitely an option. According to some reports out there, the Eagles are expected to look into Jeremy Chinn. I'm not sure which Simmons you're talking about. I think it's Justin Simmons of the Denver Broncos. Really like him as a safety, team captain with Denver, former Pro Bowler, All-Pro player, tied for the NFL league high in interceptions last year with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Very good player who I think if you pair him up with Reed Blankenship, you address a weakness in a really, really big way. Millie315, future topic. We're going to need to draft secondary and offensive line high in the draft. The good news here, Millie, is that the Eagles have a lot of draft picks in 2024. And I want to take a look at those right now because currently the Eagles are projected to have 10 picks in the 2024 draft. Those picks right now, they have their own first-round pick. They have their own second-round pick. They have a pick from the Saints in the second round, a projected compensatory pick in the third, another one in the fourth, a fifth-round pick from Minnesota, fifth-round pick from the Bucs, compensatory picks in the fifth and sixth rounds, and then in the sixth, the Eagles have their own pick or the Titans' sixth-round pick, whichever is better. So that is plenty of draft ammunition to target secondary, to target offensive line. I know that in the preseason, we were talking about some of the young players in that secondary, Eli Ricks, Josh Jobe, Mario Goodrich, who was let go on Tuesday by Philadelphia, Keely Ringo. You do have some young players who you can continue to groom, but if you want to use a first-round pick on a top-tier stud cornerback and kind of do what you did this past year in being a good team, but drafting for need and best player available and taking Jalen Carter as well as Nolan Smith, you could do that in the secondary. What's crazy is that the Eagles have not drafted a corner in the first round since Lito Shepherd out of Florida in the early 2000s. Bird Gang Eagles, do you think the Eagles can beat the Dolphins even though we had a bad week? I certainly think that the Eagles can beat the Dolphins. And I think about my entire lifetime as an Eagles fan, I have seen this story before, where the Eagles come off a lackluster, subpar, disappointing, and frustrating week, and there's a team coming into town the following week that's really good, that a lot of people expect is going to beat Philadelphia, and then the Eagles' defense just comes to play, and they roar as far as sacks go. Like I remember, growing up, like Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Tom Brady being flustered by this Eagles defense, and especially when those quarterbacks have to play at Lincoln Financial Field, it's a difficult environment. And I don't think that Tua Tagovailoa has faced anything like that. And I could see this Eagles defensive line just wreaking havoc all throughout the day and getting that dub on Sunday Night Football. Speaking of that game, what are your predictions for it? Who you got? MIA for the Miami Dolphins, PHI for the Eagles. Hopefully that Dolphins offense will be MIA. Erica Jones. Hi, Chase. Tad depressed about losing. It was brutal to watch, but I know our birds will come back. What's the first thing we need to work on to come back better next time? The easiest thing to work on, the easiest thing to clean up, not turning the damn football over 4 times. The fact that the Eagles turned it over that many times and still had an opportunity to win and still should have won tells you all that you need to know. That's the biggest New York Jets regular season win in years. And it's unfortunate because I thought that the Eagles spoiled what was a very fine defensive effort where Hassan Reddick finally broke out, Josh Sweat making a name for himself on the pressures leaderboard this year across all edge rushers in the NFL. So you clean up those turnovers. That's what you have to do. And let's be honest. Did anybody coming off a Super Bowl expect the Eagles to be 5-1 6 weeks into the year? Not many. And you would have taken this start even if you thought they were going to go undefeated. Here they are in a good position and they can control their own destiny. Jared, Brian Johnson needs to be better, as well as the execution from Jalen Hurts. Both can be true, right? Both can be true. And I think that Brian Johnson can do better with play calling, especially situationally, especially on some of those money downs, 3rd and 4th down. And then especially in the red zone, too. That's really, really cost the Eagles so far this year. And then on that same message there, Jared, like Jalen Hurts can be better, too. Can't throw that pick late. Not your typical Leo 42. I want to really see what Nolan Smith can do. His energy should really move mountains. Nakobe Dean needs to get out of his head and ball the F out. Nakobe Dean, it was good to see him back on the field against New York. I thought he made a couple of solid plays. As for Nolan Smith, Derek Barnett has no sacks this year, and he's had about 20 more pass rush snaps compared to Nolan Smith. I say at this point, you know what Derek Barnett is? Tap into the potential of Nolan Smith and give him those pass rushing opportunities that you're giving Derek Barnett and see what he can do, because I guarantee you he's going to be able to give you a little bit more than the nothing burger you've gotten from Derek Barnett. Could you see us signing Frank Clark or D Ford? We need some defensive line help as well as giving Derek Barnett not playing that great. D Ford is cooked. I mean, he's had a neck injury the last couple of years where his medicals have gotten flagged. Frank Clark, I think he's going back to the Kansas City Chiefs. Who needs to step up for the Eagles against Miami? Is it Brian Johnson? Is it Jalen Hurts? It's your opportunity to be a part of the show once more and share your thoughts with me down below in the comment section.